Hi, I'm Day, and this is what your favorite Fate Grand Order story says about you. Singularity F. You saw how interesting Fate Go started, and despite the highs later being higher, you still stuck with the first. Either that or you're an Olga simp and missed this variant. Orleans, you're a Jean simp. Probably both. Or I guess you like dragons. Septum, you don't exist. You and I both know that Nero was far better in Extra. Okeanos, despite being an early game chapter, you found this one to actually try to be unique. You were also probably cheering when Jason got added as a playable character. London, you like how the story actually manages to pick up here with the big bad reveal. Also, the trio of Mordred, Frey, and Jekyll is probably one of your favorite unlikely trios. E pluribus unum, you are a firm believer that this is when the story got good and stick to it. You're also a raging bisexual, and this was your awakening. Camelot, you enjoyed the plot of Bedivere and how the Knights of the Round are portrayed in a villainous role. You still appreciate the Gawain fight and compare every hard fight to the original release of Singularity 6. Babylonia, no story has gripped you as much as this one did. This was your peak, and everything else was mid or just okay. Strange Fake is your new love because of this and the dynamic of Gil and Enkidu. Solomon, you found the hype of Part 1's ending to be unmatched. Also, you love how the movie made the Master throw hands with Goetia. I mean, it was kind of peak. Shinjuku, between Salter and Jalter, you see yourself a lucky man. Seraph, you're a simp for CCC. More specifically, Mel. Agartha, Shimosa, you are a Musashi simp. And you think about the final fight as the best fight in the game has ever made and has never been able to recreate the impact of. Salem, you are likely a fan of the macabre, and or are a theater kid. I get you. Christmas in the Underworld, you're an Ereshkigal simp, and want her to have the world and all your mortal possessions. Anastasia, you had your awakening at this moment. Götterdammerung, you're a sucker for a good love story, and also we're waiting for Sigurd to exist for Brynhilder's sake. Sin, you like to remind people that Gen Urobuchi can cook. You always think about the Spartacus sacrifice as one of the most peak moments ever crafted by human hands. You also like Yume Rin and want her to have a happy life. Uku, you actually like the dungeon crawling aspect, and probably have wet dreams over the amount of comments that appear in the False Night Sky. Yuka Kashtera, you probably also like shonen battle manga/anime, and love it when the protag has to fight through a bunch of lower guys to reach the big bad at the end. Imaginary Scramble, you liked how Go was a little scrunkly and had a several amounts of goats that you found funny. Atlantis, you saw how an unlikely band of servants from different times were able to band together to form one of the best cast ever seen in any game, and still think that there's no way that FGO could top the sheer power of the dynamics. Olympus, you likely overlook the first half and think about how amazing the last half is. Wodaim is your goat, and you will forever remember him and also Musashi at her great sacrifice moments. Hienkyo, you wanted Katoki to get content, and you were not disappointed, especially when you got to watch Limbo get absolutely demolished with no remorse. Avalon le Fae, you saw the amount of paper the script had, and you were ready to read through it all. You still think about the moments that happened and wonder how Nasu could ever top this. You have a level 120 of your favorite playable servant from this story, and await more versions of them to 120. You also will not shut up about how peak the story is, and get people to be annoyed at even talking with you because it's the only thing you ever talk about. Your dedication is only beaten by your ability to yap about each small, minute detail. In other words, you are like a JoJo fan, with the only cock you're sucking being LB Sits. Tunguska Sanctuary, you like animals! You also have the full beast Koyan on your Hear Me Out cake. Trom, you wanted FGO to have a full-scale war between servants, and you were hooked. You enjoyed the inclusion of Charlemagne and the death of Sherlock, and also hope that he stays dead. Nahui Mictlan, you are a hardcore Nasu-verse nutcase, and this was your buffet, as you point out every reference and what it means from the greater Nasu-verse sphere. Plus, you get to see dinosaurs holding guns, and the Velocipaster. Paper Moon, okay was great, but this gave you the combat experience you wanted most. Either that, or you got to see an actual war in this game for a real storyline. In a way. Id. If the Avengers have 100 fans, you are one of them. If the Avengers have 1 fan, you are that one. If the Avengers have 0 fans, you are gone. This is your turf, and no one can stop you. Celeb Summer Experience / Archetype Inception. You're either a BB simp, an Aresh simp, a Tsukihime simp, or a simp for rabbits. I'll let you decide. And that was what each story says about you. This was done on a whim and for the memes. How accurate was I? Discuss in the comments. I've been Day. See you later, gamers.